Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to a new series of videos. I had this idea early this morning and I wanted to get it going. I think in life you have to create momentum, and that goes with anything. YouTube, if you want to be a mixed martial artist, whatever it is, the first step is go for it. So, all right, what I want to do, this new series, we're going to look at books that I worked on, and I'm going to just share stories as I look at it. I'll tell you anything that I can remember from the experience of working on the page, the job, the creative team on it, whatever it is. I'm going to lay it all out on the table so one day I can look back on this video and say, oh yeah, I'm glad I shared that story now because I don't remember it anymore. Um, yeah, Forever Evil, written by Jeff Johns, penciled by David Finch, inked by me, and colored by, I believe, Sonia Oback. And one thing I was going to say, just going into it, because this is one of my first memories, is I think around the second or third issue, people tended to believe that we were behind or that we were slow. And what they didn't understand is that although this series was, I think, 6 issues, it was 12 issues worth of content. So you basically got a year's worth of work out of us in about 10 months, I think, or something like that. But it was very, very intense. That's the first thing I'll say going into it. It was a ton of characters too. I don't know if the first issue will really demonstrate. It kind of does though, I think. But anyway, sorry. So let's look at the cover. I do remember inking the cover. I want to say that we did the cover after we had already done some pages. I don't remember this being the first thing that I inked from this series. I had been working with David at this point for about a year, maybe a little bit longer, because we had done a run on Batman Dark Knight. And we did, I believe, 8 or 9 issues together. And then David stayed on the book for, I think, 3, where he was inking himself. And then David brought me back on Justice League of America. And we did a little bit of that. And then we took on this. And then we went to Wonder Woman after this. But that's a story for another day, friends. All right, so one funny story I can tell you, just looking at all these characters, and we'll start looking at the sequentials in just a second. David and I were notorious for forgetting some of the characters' names. We would be talking about the pages, and like we could never remember some of the characters' names, and it was just kind of funny because I felt really guilty about it. Where I'm like, I'm the worst professional comic book artist because I don't know half the characters' names, and I felt better knowing that David was forgetting some of them too. But I won't point out which ones. I don't want to embarrass myself. So this is the cover again. We'll just look at the little bit of just preamble stuff. This is, I think, I want to say this is like an ender page for one of the issues. I kind of remember doing this. I feel like this was further on in the book, but I can't remember. But yeah, I would say we. David, he has very, very chunky blacks and stuff like that in his work. It's very grounded in these heavy, heavy blacks. And, you could really put some beefy lines. I mean, if you really look at how thick some of these lines are on this stuff, it's pretty extreme, to be honest. And it's a really almost like a dead weight line. I mean, I was really trying to push Superman, or whoever this is, forward. I'm already blowing it. I don't remember what this dude's name is. We'll call him the dude. But yeah, I mean, there's some thin and thicks, but I mean, looking at it now, I don't know if I would have done that heavy holding line on it, but it's hard to say. We'll see. We will see, because I'm working on Inktober right now and doing a lot of drawings for it. So, okay, this is, again, part of the book, the interior. We can see this there. Oh, shoot. I shut it with the credits. But anyway, I'm nearly sure that this is Sonia Oback colors. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, the pencils. Let me turn this gray and remove some of this other gray. Yeah, there you go. I waved my magic wand of Photoshop and was able to turn this into pencils. So, yeah, David's pencils, I would consider this very tight. It's all there. there's a lot of different ways that you can interpret some of the textures and stuff that he does. But overall, David is a very accomplished penciler, and he knows what he wants. He does some interesting chunky lines. Like I do watch his YouTube channel. I save almost every video that they do or stream. But yeah, like it's always impressive to me that he pencils this tight. But again, he's not inking like these pieces. He wasn't going to ink himself, so his job was to pencil it. But like these like little dots and stuff that he puts on the characters are kind of cool. This stuff over here, like on the body. Okay. All right, let's get into the comic. So page 1, this was a nice way to start the book for me. You're a little anxious, you're excited, and this was a good warm up. You know, I felt like, okay, I could really focus on everything. This is another thing. I'm very proud of the fact that David and I, in particular, we worked really really hard on the what would I hate to call them boring pages, but stuff that's not splash pages, stuff that's not the superheroes. In Dark Knight, there's some really really beautiful pages that we did, like in a restaurant, and David worked really hard to make them look good, and I did too. And it was always one of those things where maybe because it wasn't cool stuff that we just wanted to step it up and make sure they look nice. But I mean, look how nice this page is. It's well laid out. You know, everything is just on point. Nothing is like phoned in. And that's an important thing. On Patreon, I do reviews and lessons for people, and you know, being able to create a level of stamina and follow through is so important in comics and in art in general. And one of the hardest things is that last like 30% of a piece, finishing it up like as strong as you started, as enthusiastic as you started out. It's real challenging, but it's something that you just want to instill it in yourself right out of the gate. But for me, what I would say back when I was inking other people, I don't really ink anymore. I'm penciling, inking my own stuff. But I would always try to finish stronger than I started. So when the last couple of hours, I would really try to actually, make my lines a little better, pay attention a little bit more, as opposed to the opposite, which would be, you just want to get it done. It's there. You've left stuff at the end that's the hard stuff to ink, or it's the not fun stuff to ink, or and this could be penciling too. Yeah, you kind of phone it in, and it's just not a good way to be. But like this is just a scene in a helicopter with them, crashing essentially. But it's all as nice as any splash page that you'll find in here, any superhero page. Everything is done with the same amount of care and attention to detail. Here's an explosion page. I remember doing this page. That's funny. It was an interesting one because it's this kind of stuff can be hard. Not that doing buildings is hard, but in black and white, if you were to see this, to really make it not look flat and boring. I mean, I'm not going to go on a rant about like digital inks or like the grid tools and stuff like that. But sometimes digital inks can look stiff because the lines are all the same, like line weight. People get lazy with them and just start using like the same pen size for like every window and stuff like that. And when you work traditionally, you have the opportunity to, like, I probably did these lines with a Hunt 102, so I would use a triangle, like an inking triangle, meaning that it's lifted a little bit. And the harder I push down on my crow quill against the triangle, the line will be thicker. Is if I lighten up, it's going to be thinner, and so I can actually vary the line weight a little bit. It really adds quite a bit of variety and character to the thing. I mean, you can see here where I did the little speed lines. That would be an example of like I pushed hard where it's thick, and then as I flick the line, I'm lightening my touch, and so you get that nice pointy line. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. So we're not really getting knocked over the head with like a ton of superheroes right out of the gate in this book, but I'm telling you, when it got going, it wasn't uncommon to have 20 or 30 characters per page, and that was a lot of work. Oh yeah, the world is ours. I want to say, maybe not. I was almost going to say that I think that we had we had done the text on the phone, but I could be wrong on that because that clearly is like a font. But I kind of felt like I knew that that was there. Maybe not though. It doesn't look like it. I actually really like the way that David draws Lex Luthor. All right, here we go. This is gonna start getting heating up. Really fun page. He did some great like control rooms in this book, but again, I really like the inks on this. This is the like I liked what I saw before, but the inks on this are actually really nice. This looks great. I did this like 9 or 10 years ago, so trust me, if I see something I don't like, I'll be the first to tell you, because you know it is what it is. It's you know it's interesting because when you don't do a lot of work, you live and die kind of by every single piece. You know, it's a big deal. And when you do comic book stories and stuff like that, it's more a law of averages. It's just making sure that you've done over the year. You know, if you do say 250 pages, that you know 125 of them are pretty awesome, and you'll have a good batting average. This is cool, fun stuff to do. This I think we did do the lettering on these, and that's one of those things I tell people, man, if you're gonna do lettering on a page, you really have to nail the letters. If not, it's not even worth it to put it on. And I sometimes I have like real OCD with like lettering, not like clinical, but I've always been really particular about like lettering, not even comics. I'm just talking about like handwriting. So yeah, it's one of those things. If you're gonna do, I mean, kind of got the Silvestri head here where it stretches out. I don't know if you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about, but like sometimes when Mark will draw women, most of the time it's actually a flip of it. The funny thing is when I see Mark do it, it's usually it's facing this direction, and he'll draw. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Um, he'll usually have them like leaning like this, but their face will get real long. It's just some weird anomaly that Mark sometimes. It must be the way he sets up his drawings, but yeah, that face kind of got a little like long there. It almost looks like it says Ham Asylum. Like the arc sort of gets lost because you see the RK, but it looks like RK Ham Asylum. This is nice. One thing I'm noticing with the actual reproduction of this, and it could be just these digital scans, is it's a little muddy. When you you know what? I remember something now. So when I was doing Forever Evil, I would scan the art myself. So I would finish a page or finish a few pages, and I would scan them here. I would get them ready for coloring, meaning that you level them. And I was turning all the files into bitmap files, and that was what I had been kind of taught, and how I think that they did it at Wildstorm. And not everyone does it that way, and I don't personally like the way that it reproduces, although I know colorists ultimately do turn them that way. But I think that the line art itself should, in some ways, maybe stay grayscale. It'd still be black and white, but yeah, these just got too dark, so it's partially my fault, but it was kind of the way that I was taught to do it. But I really felt that it made the work look a little too sort of heavy handed, because I'm pretty finessey. If you've ever seen anything that I've drawn, I'm pretty. I definitely lean more probably towards more like fine detail generally, but when I would ink Chris Bacalo on stuff, the lines were a little heavier. This is a nice pose. Really good figure. Damn, his figures are chunky, just good stuff. Man, he is so good. I wish I could take a month off and just watch like a month of his YouTube videos. I'm always working though. It frustrates me because I want to watch them, but I don't like to listen to them while I'm working because I don't I keep looking up and wanting to watch it, so I need to just devote like time to it. Maybe at night I could do it. All right, let's continue, friends. Oh, I like this page. I like all these small panels. I think again he draws a great Lex Luthor. He's just really cool looking to me. This is all very cool with the bowling ripped up and the guy like hanging off the helicopter, and then this looks great. And here come the heroes. Super beautiful colors on this too. Great colors. I actually like that choice of the orange lettering there. It really looks good. Man, it's a great page for like a non, you know, it's a great looking page considering that it's not like a big, you know, fancy thing of Catwoman or Batman or something like that. Oh, this is great too. I want to say that there was a lot of panels in this book too. I'm starting to remember as I'm looking at this that it was a somewhat panel heavy book. So we've got I think 7 panels on this page, or maybe more, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 panels? Is that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? 9 panels. Damn. David doesn't make it look claustrophobic though. You know, this actually looks spacious. You know, you get some nice big action here. You got Superman's cape is a little blurred out, but that's his cape. Oh, this is a great scene. I forgot about this. And the doors blow open. Man, that's so kick-ass. Or the windows blow out. But that is such a cool shot. Ah, it's so good. This is neat with him walking down the hallway, like using his X-ray vision. And he finds Lex. And then look at this. This crazy son of a bitch is going for the kryptonite. He's grabbing it. Yes. Don't touch it. But he does. And then what happens? Oh my god. Cuts to this. I remember inking this page. Chain link fences. Although we didn't do the links. I'm glad that he didn't, because it would have been a lot of work and there's a lot of shots with the chain link. But the other way you can do it is where they actually do kind of like link around. And I mean, nowadays, if someone was working digitally, they probably could just drop it in. I'm sure someone's made like what do you call it? Like a screen tone of chain link that you could throw in a panel that might work. But we did this the old-fashioned way. So this is just probably like my thickest rapidograph. Or you know what? It's possible that it could be the 08 micron. Maybe. The lines are pretty. The lines are pretty smooth, and these ones get even bigger. I don't recommend ever using Sharpie on a page. Although there are times where the thickness of like I call it a fat boy Sharpie, but I think they call it well, I have it right here. They always call it fine point. I don't consider it a fine point. It's a pretty thick pen, but yeah. The problem is when it ages, it will turn a funky color, and you just don't want that on your original art. But I always thought these characters were pretty cool. This is a pretty fun page, and then this is all neat. And again, a lot of panels on this page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot. Well, and here, this is where the characters start to stack up too. You'll see what I mean. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I mean, obviously some of them are cropped and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, 23 to like 32 characters per page was not uncommon for this book, this series. So it's basically 2 superhero teams fighting each other, the good guys and the bad guys. Good version of the DC heroes, bad version-ish. Right? Oh, I remember inking this. Oh, this was fun. It's funny, I did, and the colors were similar too. And Danger Girl, I inked probably the last issue of Danger Girl. I inked over half the issue. So it was an oversized issue. So I think I did maybe 25 or 27 pages, something like that. But there was a scene that was kind of like the Indiana Jones where the guys get their skin blown off of them and they all melt. kind of thing. But it was real similar to this. But yeah, I think J. Scott Campbell and done some stuff like this. It's real fun. Like this is fun stuff to ink. You can kind of see too. You can get a little blip and blop. And what I mean by that is you see the round like ink lines and then like the line. Or like these like sort of round ones. I call that blip and blop, where you kind of go thick and then thin and then thick and then thin and then thick and thin, and it creates a nice like you see on this rock right here how the line is really really thick right here, and then I have it like this, but this is open right here. If you actually saw in black and white, I left that open on purpose, almost like a rim light. But you think about this stuff fast. It's not like I don't sit and when I point stuff out, it seems maybe like it's more a thought process. Eventually, this is a nice face. Eventually, you just kind of you instinctually know to do it if you've done it enough. You figure a normal comic book artist, if you're doing say 10 books a year, you're doing a couple hundred pages a year. You multiply that by 10 years in the business or 15 years in the business, you've done a few thousand pages. So you really start to build some pretty strong chops. This is great. So fun. The colors are very, very cool. It's interesting because one of the DC books that I didn't really do much of was Green Lantern, but this, obviously this has got like a Green Lantern vibe, but man, Green Lantern's a hard book to work on because there's so many characters in that. Although you think of just Green Lantern, oh, this is funny. So he crushes up the kryptonite and snorts it. This guy is, I can't remember what his name is, but this guy is so crazy. This was great. Really, really nice face right here. This is cool too. He crushes it and snorts it. I'm the strongest again. Lex is like, oh no, what is going on, dude? What are you up to, bro? Alright, let's continue. Here he is. This guy. Ultraman. This is nice. Nice heroic thing. I've never really gotten Superman down. I need to attempt a Superman here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can fit him in Inktober at some point. But, yeah, I've only really drawn Superman, I don't even know, maybe once. I don't count inking as drawing him because it's not like you lay it out or have to decide the aesthetic that you're going to use. Because there's a lot of different ways you can draw him. Now, this is interesting. This looks like pencils to me. I'm wondering... There's a possibility that maybe David didn't have the coins designed when we did this page. I don't remember inking this, and it does look like pencil to me. It almost doesn't look like David's pencils, funny enough, but I'm sure it is. But, yeah, these coins were probably open. Like, they hadn't decided on the design. This is cool. We actually did some Scarecrow and also Two-Face in our run on Dark Knight. And did we do Mr. Freeze? Mr. Freeze pops up. I don't think there was a book devoted to Mr. Freeze. Really nice Two-Face right here. Super cool. Oh, look at the coin. That's awesome. Yeah, that's not on the original. So David must have drawn those later. It's funny. I haven't really looked at the comic in a while. And then there's another pencil drawing right there. This is great. This Two-Face right here. Good stuff, man. Oh, I thought that was her breasts. I was like, her boobs are low, but it's his arm. All right. Oh, God. The time flew. Holy crap. I was just going to try to do this as 20 minutes. All right. This I loved. I thought this was such a cool, just huge, huge shot. And I really, really put a lot of love into this. Man, I enjoyed inking this page so much. It was so fun, and it can be challenging too, because when you're doing something like this, like it's obviously like a coast, and this ship is like crashed there, but you are thinking separation. You are trying to have stuff look close, far away, also keeping it in perspective. There's a lot you're kind of juggling mentally, and I'll be honest, a lot of times colors, I'm not saying the colors are bad on this piece, but sometimes colors can make the inks look off. It's not uncommon that if something is colored improperly, meaning that they don't follow the light sources or the cues that you've left as an inker, things can look flat. Like, and I didn't notice this before, but like this to me is like a ridge. Like this kind of goes up and comes down, and this texture flattens it all out right here because it's not. It doesn't feel like it's going over form. This doesn't really feel like it's going over form, and you start breaking planes, meaning like subdivisions of planes, you're gonna have problems. And for someone like me who can really spot that stuff now, almost at a ridiculous level, it probably would annoy me. Not I'm not really that picky though with colors, to be honest. I think you let the colors kind of do their thing. And I haven't seen really any issues with colors on this book, to be honest. I think the colors look great. This is a quintuple page spread, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the far left. I think in this book they show each chunk and then one with it all together. This took a while. I can't remember how many days it took. I don't think I was doing a whole panel a day. And in fact, this might actually be two pieces of it. I think this is one sheet of paper, and then this is another sheet of paper. I'm almost sure that there's these two connects. This would be like a double page spread. And I couldn't name probably quite a few of these characters in this group, but many I can. But this was really, really fun. I took my time on it. I really, really tried to make each character perfect. You know, there's not, in my opinion, I didn't put a bad line down on the whole thing. Now that's subjective in terms of like what you like, but there's no mistakes on this. I did exactly what I wanted to do on it at the time. But again, you know, it comes down to that thing that I was saying earlier, which is that you really, really have to commit to the whole piece. You know, you can't commit to like, maybe it was quadruple. I guess it was a 4 because this is another piece, and then this is another piece, and so it's 4. But that's the biggest spread that I'd ever done. Oh, and I was going to say that this too. This was actually the highest selling book that I ever worked on, and I'm nearly sure that it sold over 1 million copies. It didn't right out of the gate. I think its initial orders were very, very high. But I think when it got reordered, it actually cracked 1 million. Like it did like 1 million too. I could be remembering it wrong, but that's pretty insane to have a book hit 1 million sales. In particular at that time, because you know, unless there was a lot of covers for the first issue. I think there were 7 covers, maybe something like that. But stuff like that definitely helps. Yeah, so this is the highest circulated book that I think I ever worked on, as far as I know, that I can think of. But anyway, so we're going to start to wrap this up because I really only wanted to make these videos 20 minutes. I feel like that's a good commitment of time for people to watch it, and you know, people will tune in and stick around for the videos. So anyway, but yeah, so this is Forever Evil #1. Really, really kick-ass comic. The story is actually very, very cool. Here's that splash. So it was towards the end of the first book. I think later in the 4th or 5th issue, there's another scene that's kind of like this. The Justice League is dead. Deadly dead. He almost reminds me of Midnighter or like something a little bit. Like he has like a little Court of Owls kind of vibe. So okay, it's unlikely that we're gonna do Super Fun Sunday this weekend. I've got a lot of stuff to do, but my hope is next Sunday we'll be back on a regular schedule. But I've got like 3 different things that I need to do this weekend, and there's just no way I can break up my Sunday with Super Fun Sunday because it's just tricky to do. There's like dead time before the show, and then after the show I usually am less motivated to do everything that I was planning on doing. So anyway, but all right, you guys have a great day. I love you all. Go check out my Instagram and you can see all the art that I've been posting. And you know, if you made it to the end of the video, I'll talk about oh, I wanted to show you guys this page. This is so funny. So David and I, when we were splitting up the art, I think we split it up issue by issue, and so this is the beginning of issue 2. I don't want to do too many spoilers from this issue, so I'll just leave it at this page. But it was so funny. But we were splitting up art for issue 2, and there was some real nice like splash pages and stuff like that. And when you split up art with like a penciler, usually you go back and forth. So like say I'll go, hey David, you pick first this time, and next time maybe I'll pick first or whatever. Or you flip a coin or whatever it is. And so David actually picked this page, funny enough, quite early when we were splitting up the issue, and I thought that that was so funny because it's a weird page to like be into, but he really was kind of proud of what he did. Not they killed a rat, but you know what I'm saying, like that's a like something that you wouldn't normally draw, and he really did a great job on it. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm attempting to do Inktober, and then I'm also attempting to do Helltober, which I don't really know who created Helltober, but it's a bunch of horror movie prompts. I'm focusing on Inktober and then doing the Helltober pieces on the side. But I got a little carried away on my first couple of Inktober pieces. I'm not rationing my time very wisely. So as I moved through Inktober, I had kind of goals with what I wanted to do. I wanted to experiment with different styles, and I wanted to do, like, I had a certain level of detail and things that I wanted to do. And that all went out the window. The second I started doing it, I was just like, oh, I'm going to do like a cover quality image every one. So I don't really want to keep that up through all of Inktober because it will just take too long. And then for people that were concerned about Blaster Kid, don't worry, Blaster Kid's fine. Like I said, I don't want to launch it during the holidays. So January we're gonna get it all laid out. You'll have all the information that you need for it. But I just kind of want to enjoy the end of the year and just draw a ton of shit. You know, Blaster Kid stuff included, but Kelsey had recommended that you maybe like just hold back on the Blaster Kid stuff until January, and I thought that was a good idea. He told me that a while ago. He said, don't show any more Blaster Kid art. Let it be a surprise so that the hype when you show it and drop it will be through the roof, to the moon and back. So I thought that was a good idea. So anyway, but you'll see plenty of art from me over the next few months, and I'm really trying to experiment a lot. So just because what you see me doing now, don't think that that's all I'm gonna do, because I'm already working in like 3 or 4 styles. I want to do cartoony stuff. I want to do some just traditional sort of image style work. I want to do some illustration stuff. I want to do some illustration stuff that I've never done, styles of illustration inking that I've never attempted. I want to do some like other I have a bunch of ideas. So anyway, but all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, and I'm out of here. Bye.